We all love going outside and getting some sun, and I personally look forward to getting a tan every summer. But at the same time, we constantly hear that tanning is bad for our skin. So, is that really true? And if it is, what is actually happening to your skin when it gets darker? Today, we'll look at three questions: what causes a tan, why UV radiation can be harmful, and whether there is a safer way to enjoy the sun. I'm Mia, and on Biology Briefly, we explore interesting scientific questions, explain biological processes, and challenge what we think we know through curiosity. Let's start with what happens when sunlight hits your skin. Sunlight contains several types of radiation, including ultraviolet or UV radiation. Two types that reach our skin are called UVA and UVB. When UV radiation reaches your skin, it can damage cells and their DNA. Your body responds by increasing production of a pigment called melanin. Melanin helps absorb some UV radiation and is also what gives your skin, hair, and eyes much of their color. As more melanin is produced and distributed throughout your skin becomes darker. That is what we see as a tan. So tanning is not simply your skin changing color because it has been warmed by the sun. The darker color is part of your body's attempt to protect itself after being exposed to UV radiation. The American Academy of Dermatology describes a tan as a sign that UV damage has occurred. Think of it a little like your body putting up an umbrella after it has already started raining. The melanin can provide some protection, but the UV exposure that triggered the response has already happened. And that leads us to the bigger question: what exactly is that UV radiation doing? The main problem happens inside your cells. Your DNA contains the instructions cells use to function and reproduce. UV radiation can damage that DNA. Usually, cells have systems that repair DNA damage, and they are surprisingly good at it. But those repair systems are not perfect. If damage builds up, some DNA changes can remain. Over many exposures, those mutations can affect genes that normally control how cells grow and divide. In some cases, that can eventually contribute to skin cancer. Most skin cancers are linked to excessive exposure to UV radiation from the sun or artificial sources such as tanning beds. UV exposure can also affect the skin in ways that have nothing to do with cancer. Over time, it can break down structures that help keep skin firm and elastic. This contributes to wrinkles, changes in pigmentation, and other signs of premature skin aging. A sunburn is an especially obvious sign of UV injury. Your skin may become red, painful, and inflamed because many cells have been seriously damaged. But here is the important part. You do not have to burn for UV exposure to affect your skin. A tan itself means your skin has responded to UV radiation. So the idea of getting a healthy tan from UV light is somewhat misleading. So does that mean that the sun is always bad for you? No. Going outside and intentionally tanning are not the same thing. Sunlight helps the body produce vitamin D, which is important for things like bone health. Spending time outside can also come with benefits that have nothing to do with UV radiation, such as exercise and time in nature. Small amounts of UV exposure contribute to vitamin D production, but excessive exposure can damage the skin and eyes. The goal then is not to avoid the outdoors. It is to simply reduce unnecessary UV exposure. And if you just want the appearance of a tan, self-tanning products can darken your skin without exposing it to harmful UV radiation. So is tanning bad for you? A tan might look healthy, but biologically, it is actually a response to UV exposure. That UV radiation can damage your skin and DNA, and repeated exposure can raise your risk of skin cancer and premature aging. That does not mean you have to avoid sunny days. You can still enjoy the beach, the pool, or being outside. The key difference is enjoying the sun while protecting your skin, rather than trying to damage it enough to make it darker. And sometimes understanding what our bodies are doing can completely change how we see something as ordinary as a sunny day. Thanks for listening to Biology Briefly. Until next time, keep curious.